live from Austin, Texas, but not really. Pre-recorded live when you see it, right?
That's right. I learned that. I discovered that.
Cool. This is Jay Satellite over here.
What's up, everybody?
And this is his band. What's the name of your band?
Jay Satellite.
Was that an accident or that just coincidence? I can see that.
Yeah.
All right, is this you singing?
Right.
All right. See what we got here. See what we got. I'm digging it.
It's definitely leaning into the Def Leppard Hysteria thing.
You know what it reminds me of? Bowie.
Thank you.
Yeah, your vocals.
I would say huge. I appreciate that. That's definitely a huge vocal influence.
I'm getting like hints of Bowie, some shoegaze.
That's really awesome. Thank you.
The production's really good. Sounds solid. And then we're here.
Mary.
Who's doing the backup?
Yeah, that's Marigold. That's our bass player. That's my wife, Mary.
Oh,
she's
your wife.
Yes.
Oh my
Lord.
And you guys are making beautiful music together.
We're actually getting next weekend celebrating our anniversary. Been together 27 years.
27 years.
I'm gonna get that wrong. I know I'm wrong.
Dude.
I'll probably be short a year.
Dude,
it's been a while.
Fuck anybody that says love doesn't exist or it's not worth chasing.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
She's like the secret weapon.
I got a secret weapon now.
Yeah.
I got married.
That's right.
She's my backup. She's my go-to.
Power. It's the Wonder Twin powers. We used to joke about that. We'd say Wonder Twin powers activate and flash our wedding rings.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been singing together for years, but she's been in the band since 2011.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Great.
All right, cool. Go ahead and ease out of that. See here. Yeah, I'm really digging that, man.
Thank you.
Actually, I've been listening to it for the last 2 or 3 days, but I listened to it through twice, and not in succession though.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really digging the vibe from the songs that have been written that you put out. So who's the main songwriter then for Jay Satellite?
That would be me. This one's all. I wrote all the songs on this one, but Mary wrote one of the songs on the last record, and we collaborate together in our side project called Telekeens, where we kind of do a duo thing with backing tracks.
Oh, that's
and she's
cool.
working on writing She's writing another project as well. So she's, in addition to being a musician, she's a writer. She's written poetry and prose for years. Incredibly talented writer.
That is cool, man.
Yes.
Yeah, it seems like I'm the only person that has not met you up until like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, right? Because that's what it seems like.
Well, I remember we met.
You're friends with a lot of really close, tight friends of mine,
right?
And everybody knows you, and I'm like, where have I been?
Yeah, and it's kind of the similar thing with you. Like when I talk to a lot of people, I'll talk about other friends and stuff, and I'll mention you guys at Firewalk, and I'll mention you guys, and a lot. I mean, it's kind of like I feel that's one of the things I feel very blessed. When I moved to Austin in like 2001.
Yeah,
we had little kids. We were living in Round Rock and then Hutto, and I would go to the South by. I would run into South by every year and see a bunch of bands. I saw Trail of Dead many times, and a lot of the bands that were active then, that we're friends with now. I saw a lot of those bands, back in the day. But I was, kind of outside looking in. I was recording stuff, but I wasn't actively gigging or anything, with kids at home and stuff. It was sort of like on the back burner.
Oh, 100%. That's kind of how
Yeah.
I feel too with my kid. When my kid was born, put the brakes on that pretty quick. I was single dad, so
Right. Absolutely.
What am I going to do? So I just had to do what I had to do to take care of my son.
Right,
So,
and I think the thing about it was I just feel real fortunate that through the years of starting to gig, I started to gig in probably 2009 after my dad passed, which is a significant reason why I think I was waiting to gig so long. I grew up. He was a preacher in the Church of Christ, very much, opposed to the entirety of rock music and everything like that. So it was a challenging, but he was also a great father, and I really loved him. And I in a weird way, I think I just wanted to honor his. It wasn't a conscious thing, I think, but it was. I think that's what when he passed, I was like, okay, I'm going to do my thing now.
All right, yeah. No, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I mean, I grew up also in a pretty heavy Christian household, and I remember one time my mom's. I love my mom, man, but she's like crazy for God. But and and I don't hate religion. I respect people's want to do religion, I guess.
Right.
But my mom used to like tell me, she goes, you're going to hell, right?
Right.
And I'd be like, why? She's like, because you play that guitar. And God didn't give you that gift. Satan gave you that gift.
Right.
So you are definitely going to hell.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
I got the implication of that constantly from. It wasn't really
instrument
from
of the devil. It's an instrument to the devil.
My dad never really went there. He was more just like he would say things like, you're going to have to deal with things that you're not prepared to handle. And he wasn't wrong. He wasn't really wrong about that, but it's the kind of thing you can't keep your kid from away from. You got to, you have to learn that stuff for yourself. You have to learn how to navigate everything you do in life.
Right.
I mean, so to get back to what we were talking about, which I'm proud of myself for getting back on track. We were talking about friends. Man. So I actually feel fortunate that I, through the years of gigging and meeting people and just, finding awesome bands and connections to people that I feel so blessed that I've met so many great friends like you and like the guys in Magnet School and just so many people who have such. And it's been so great hearing all the stories because there's so much history with different bands and people playing in bands. Like I didn't know Mark Ford was like the biggest hot drummer in town in the 90s. Like,
he was a badass.
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
Still is a badass.
He is. I know. But when you just see one aspect of what somebody does, there's always a lot of history there. So I feel blessed that I've been able to see a lot of that and experience a lot of that through friends. And that's kind of what you're talking about. But yeah, I'm kind of one of those people that feels like every time you meet somebody, if you feel that kind of wow connection, you need to like really jump on it and and really try to establish a connection with people, because that's why we're doing all this. If we're not connecting with each other and with the audience, there's not really any.
Yeah, if we're not connecting with ourselves,
right,
through playing our music, there's no point. But since we do that to connect with ourselves, that we end up meeting people along the way that are on the same path. Whether you meant for it to happen or not.
Absolutely.
How did you How did you meet Mark Ford? Mark Ford is a drummer for this band called Shotzi that was really popular in Austin, and is still popular. And another band that he had called Magnet School, where he played guitar in that one. Where did you meet him? What other bands was he in? Or what was going on at that time?
It was from Magnet School because
Magnet School back then.
Well, no, we're talking like 2015.
Oh, okay.
That was.
I was thinking.
It was the art of telling the truth. The 2007, I caught up to all that, but it was our friends, the Ex-Optimists from Bryan, had played a show with them, and I think once before with them in a band called Honeyrood, who were also on the Shifting Sounds label.
Oh, sweet.
Honeyrood's awesome too.
Yeah,
Ian and all
great.
those guys. And I went to see the show, and I was literally, it was like the first time I saw you guys. It was just like, I was gobsmacked, like, this is insanely great. Like, there's sometimes I see bands where the band is playing something that is so familiar and so exactly something that I either would want to do myself or wish a type of sound that I wish somebody had gotten to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you're just like, I know exactly what they're going for. And it was like that with you guys. When I saw Trail of Dead, it was like that. But it's even more poignant now, like when I see bands that are, we're playing gigs with, where we're like, whoa. And I like that's like my favorite music is the, my friends' bands, because it's generally it's very passionate. It's very much focused on what we're doing this based on what we love and the music we really love to do. We're not trying to fill a market niche or something.
Right.
We're just playing what we love, and a lot of us are similar age and listen to a lot of the same stuff coming up. And there's you hear different things that different bands are obviously more into. So like Magnet School, when we met those guys, I saw them play once, and I was like, let's play some shows, and so we started playing
Right away.
some shows.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, and they're just their whole aesthetic, the sound. I mean, like when Eric when he used to start doing this stuff, and it sounds like a tornado, and what's that one song that they do the instrumental? It's just they're one of those bands that's just it's like their songs get stuck in my head. Like first time I see them, I'm going to walk away from a gig and I'm like still singing the song. That's how good the music is,
I first met Mark Ford. We were at I was at a house party, and the bass player. I had a band called the Art of Arrows, and
that's a cool name, man.
The first band I had here was called the Makeout Party, but then
that's great too.
I changed it because some guy's like, man, we were talking about that one day in the bar, and you stole that name from me. And I'm like, whatever, I'm changing the name. So I just changed the name because he made a big deal about it.
Right.
I mean, he wasn't mad about it, but every time I saw him, he's like, what's up? When's Makeout Party gonna play another show? And I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Right.
So what I did was I just changed it, and
that's great.
And I knew that there was this band in the '90s called the AOA, the Art of Arm, the UOA, the Universal Order of Armageddon, and I wanted to have a cool acronym or something, an acronym or something that was like that's like the AOA.
Right.
So I'm like, I want to call the band the AOA, but what is AOA? Art of Arrow. Okay, I'll just do it. And that's how that. But anyways,
it's a good name.
So I'm with my new band in Austin, 2002 maybe.
Right.
My band members. I got this guy named Mark Warren who's passed away. Rest in peace, Mark. But anyways, we were at this party. And my friend Eric, who was playing in Sparta at the time, he was there too. So my friend Eric was there. I was there. We were in the kitchen with my band, and someone's like, "Oh, Mark Ford's gonna be here." And the first thing I thought was, "Oh, the drummer for Shotzi. I want to talk to this guy.
Right.
I want to play a show with Shotzi. I want to meet these guys."
Right.
And then Mark, my bass player, goes, "Dude, fuck Mark, dude." And I was all, "What's wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong?" Because he's always trying to be cool,
Right.
He's like always trying to be cool or some shit. I'm like, "What's wrong with you?" And he goes, "Said something bad about me, man. Said something bad about me." I'm like, "Did you hear him say it?" "No." He said something. What did he say? He's like, about this girl that he thinks I was hitting on his girlfriend or something, and I told him fuck you at Emos, and he's like wanted to fight, and I was like, what? So anyways, Mark gets there right at the door.
Yeah.
This is a party. There's probably it's a house party. There's probably about 35 people there, and then the door opens and I see Mark Ford, and I was like, about to talk to him, and then here comes my bass player, just runs out with his head down, puts it in Mark's chest, and starts just doing this. Starts doing these Rock'em Sock'em Robots, but just hitting straight, not reaching back, not full cock, you know what I mean?
Not even doing any damage. Dude,
he's just he put his head down.
It's a performative action. He's just
he put his head,
mad at you.
Yeah, he put his head right in his chest, the top of his head in front of Mark's chest, and then he starts trying to hit Mark in the stomach, and Mark just grabs his head and just pushes him, and then I was like, and then and Mark almost fell backwards and he almost fell down, and then Mark Ford, I think he left, and I remember I went out to the front yard and I was trying to talk to him, "Hey, I'm sorry about this, dude." And then Mark's at the door. My other friend Mark Warren is at the door. He's like, "Fuck that dude, man. Rich, what the fuck?" And then I got back to him and I was like, "Dude, we're trying to get a show with them. What the fuck is wrong with you?" So anyways,
you have the best stories, Rich.
I think
you just always have great stories, man.
I think Eric Sanger ended up patching that up for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I think Eric was also playing bass in Shotzi at that time.
Oh.
So that's why dude was going to be there. Yeah. I can't remember, honestly, if Mark Ford left or if he hung out and we just stayed in separate ends of the party. But honestly, yeah, I think Eric smoothed that over. And then, that's the very first time I met, when I met Mark Ford. And of course, I'd seen Shotzi multiple times at Emo's Inside Stage. saw them out the outside stage one time. They opened up for the anniversary and the Get Up Kids. Mm-hmm. And when I saw them at emails all the time, I was always like, "Oh, this is a real band."
Right.
They got Monty. Rest in peace, Monty. So many people passing. Sucks.
I know.
But anyways, rest in peace, Monty. Yeah. And I would see like them like Christian Kyle and Monty like doing like the playing guitar and backup vocals were on point. And,
Right.
Dude, I think that at that
I've
time,
watched so many of the videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because I remember, that's kind of what I'm talking about, man. Like, I remember when we moved here, I would get the Chronicle. I lived up in Hutto, I would go down to Austin to go to a show occasionally, or to go to like, Waterloo or someplace to pick up some records. And I would, read the listings of all the shows. So I was aware of the bands who were making things happen. So I knew exactly who Shotzi were. I wasn't aware of them from, at the time, we didn't have all the access to all the, being able to just hear in a second what somebody's music.
Yeah.
But I was aware of them. And so that's been the neat thing is getting to meet all these people who are still around. Like, here's an example. You remember the band Indochine?
I do.
Nathan Harlan, who was in Indochine, he opened up my solo show last night.
Shit.
Yeah, he's doing
cool.
singer-songwriter stuff now.
Wow.
He formed a band called The Big Fakes, and then they were briefly Man the Rocket. And I met Nathan at the South by Satellite festival we did last year that kind of almost
Fell apart.
Yeah, and there was a few people that still
Yeah.
wanted to play, so it was kind of a tough call. But I got to meet him that way, and sort of the same thing. Like the band that played with us last night, Swift Drag, they're friends with Nathan too. They filled in for other friends of ours, March and Beauty, and we just hit it off immediately. And I mean, they're some of my best friends now too. So there's a lot to be said for the friend-to-friend thing in this town.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good vetting of people. You can kind of know a lot about somebody when you meet the people they know.
There, a lot of I can honestly tell you, man, like all of my closest friends ever here in Austin, they're all musicians, and I met them all through. Do you know how I got to play a show with Shotzi? Do you know how I made it happen?
Please tell the story.
Okay, because
hear it.
to me there was two bands.
I was going to ask you about this after you were talking about almost
Oh
never.
yeah. Okay.
First time you met Mark.
All right. So yeah. Okay. So to me at that time there were two bands in Austin that were really There were two bands in Austin that was really like, I need to gig with these bands, not realizing they had been at it since 95, 96.
Right.
Still, and Pop Unknown was one of them, and then Shotzi. And I was like, I got to play a show with these guys. I went to every single one of their gigs. And finally I talked to Joel from Pop Unknown, and he wasn't, I don't know if you know Joel at all, but
I haven't heard that band name before.
Pop Unknown, from Austin. Yeah, they're
Is it Pop Unknown and KNOWN?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Pop Unknown.
Pop Unknown.
Oh, Pop Unknown.
Like Population
Yes.
Unknown?
Yes, okay. I thought you were saying Pop Unknown.
Yeah.
Sorry. Pop Unknown.
Yeah,
I've seen that name before.
So Joel, my friend Joel from Pop Unknown, his name is Joel Ganishow. He's also an artist here in Austin. He did that art back there on my wall.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, he
The
has
stall?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's an original piece that he did.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Also in that same hallway, I have an original piece from Conrad Keeley from Trail of Dead.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, I approached him, and I didn't really think that he was too interested. And I'm trying to talk to promoters. I don't know anybody.
Right.
I have this band that sounds like them, but
Right.
how am I going to get them to hear us? We don't have a
Exactly.
recording, or recording costs money. What am I going to do? So what I did was one thing I did know how to do was from being from California, because I moved here in 2000. I knew how to put together really cool house shows.
Yeah.
And I knew how to work a soundboard.
Right.
And I knew how much beer to buy, and I knew how to
Right.
make the flyers, and I knew how to do the legwork, and I knew who, so what I noticed here in Austin, that there wasn't any house shows. In California, that's all there was, because growing up like under 18, having bands, being in punk bands, we wanted to play shows, so we just made it happen
Right, you
ourselves.
had to.
So we just, did the whole DIY thing.
Right.
So I know how to do that. So I remember I asked Joel one time at a show, I was like, have you ever played a house show? And he goes, fuck, dude. No, but that'd be fucking dope. I haven't been to a house show in, God, it's been years. He said something like to that effect.
Right.
And then I started asking other people. I'm like, hey, is there any house shows?
Right.
And everyone's like, oh, no, man, there ain't no house shows around here at all. I had moved in with a friend of mine with a big, giant, beautiful house.
Right.
Big ass house. And it was
Perfect
perfect.
for that,
It was
yeah.
perfect. So I started asking them, hey, man, you guys want to play a house show? Mm-hmm. And they were immediately about it. They're like,
Right.
Papa Nun was like, yes.
Yeah.
This band called We Talked About Murder, they were like, yes.
Yeah.
I still had my booking connections from California from bands from Florida that were passing through.
Right.
They ended up playing. Dude, Kelvin Johnson played at my house.
Wow.
Yeah, like we had so many shows
Seriously,
at my
that
house.
is so cool.
So I got them to. There were Papa Known and Shotzi were the two, in my opinion, coolest and biggest bands at that time to
Right.
play in my living room. Mm-hmm. And it's on video somewhere. I know Tim Lassiter has it.
You gotta dig that out. Man.
Yeah, they made a video for one of their songs, Holiday.
Cool.
Yeah, they have a song called Holiday, and
I think that's still true
Dude.
though. Now, you were talking about there being a lack of, and there obviously there's a lot more house shows happening in Austin, these days, or, in general. But I was really surprised how easy it was to put together festivals. People, and especially DIY festivals, something where it's just like doing it ourselves, like Satellite Fest or South by Satellite that we do. Mm-hmm. I mean, the support we have from all the musicians for those have been overwhelming, and I think it goes to show the same reason why a house show is so popular with bands, because it's like you're so used to playing gigs where there's so many variables where it could be bad and it could suck, that at least it's going to be a good hang with your friends.
Oh, dude.
Right? It's like it eliminates so many of the variables that we don't know what we're dealing with when we go to play a show at a club we've never been to, right?
Right. Totally. Okay, so, and plus there's no security. You don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
Dude, there was it was like I created a monster.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you remember when you were a kid, you would go to the liquor store or the corner store, and there would be some little tiny rubber dinosaur,
right?
And you stick it and let it sit in water,
yeah,
and it just gets bigger and bigger, and then it's all fucked up and slimy,
right?
Well, that's what happened to me with these house shows, and the house shows. It got to the point where everyone's like, "Dude, can we play at your house?" Because it became the thing,
right?
And at least for a good year. It was a good year and a half. It was like the thing,
It just kind of got too much.
And there, at one point, it's like motorcycle gang showed up. But anyways, so dude, I swear to God, they were just out in the front yard, not like the cool banditos or whatever,
like criminal elements.
Not like the cool bikers. These guys that showed up on like ninja motorcycles with like neon pants and shit, just doing circles. And we lived in a not really a cul-de-sac, but it's like, what's that called when the street goes like that? And we lived right there.
It just sort of became like a big party.
Yeah, all the parties just became out of control. But this is the song that Papa Known did, and hopefully I don't get any strikes on this. If not, I'll just erase it. But this is the song they did. Wait, hold on. Sorry, Joel. Of course. Joel's rolling his eyes at me right now. God, Rich, you really suck.
Oh, yeah. This is great.
And that's like Gabe Wiley from fucking
Oh, this is great.
Mineral.
Oh, wow. Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
From Mineral?
Playing drums.
It's like sort of like Midwest emo, but it's a bit more on the pop punk side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get it. It's great. I love pop punk too, man. It's great. So hooky.
Yeah. I hear this song, it takes me fucking
Oh, it's great.
back, dude.
It's
Right
like
here.
Oh, this is great. What year was this? Like 2000?
2002?
Yeah.
2003 maybe?
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
So, yeah, Papa Known's a really great band. Austin.
Oh, that's
Oh, yeah,
awesome.
Gabe Wiley from Mineral played in that, and I guess like that was like sort of like a thing that sort of like followed them around.
Right.
They didn't really like being known for like featuring Gabe Wiley from Mineral.
Yeah.
It was just and Gabe same thing too. You
Mineral
don't
is
go to
great.
you don't go to a Papa Known show to talk to Gabe Wiley. You go to Papa Known show to see the band, which obviously had amazing
Right.
music. And if it wasn't amazing, then obviously Gabe wouldn't be fucking with it. So
Right, exactly.
so every once in a while, there was a fanboy would show up, and but Gabe was always really, really nice to people
Yeah.
about it. But
People mean well.
yeah,
generally.
ultimately. So then I became friends with these guys, and then and the same thing happened with Shotzi.
Right.
And then basically that was how I made all my friends here.
Right.
And so literally, I don't think I know one person that doesn't play an instrument.
Yeah, we did house shows for a while at our place at Clark Manor. We call it Clark Manor out in Hutto. We would do what we called salons, kind of like they used to do, in Paris.
Here, let's bring this up a little closer.
Where they would have, their friends come over and they would have somebody perform at the piano or something. We did that where we just have like a house show, but we would also have where, hey, if you want to read up something or if you want to,
Oh, cool.
like sort of whatever
spoken word
Just,
or
nobody ever took us up on it. I mean, that was always the concept, I mean, my brother did a few times. My brother John, who does spoken word, but the idea was just for us to, it was a good hang. We would do them every once in a while. Have people come over to our house and have different people perform. And I have video on. There's a lot of videos on my YouTube channel from years ago when I had a flip. I was just filming everything. But it was what it's like when you're having a hard time finding places to play. You just sort of have to have your own show if you want to.
yeah, just make it happen. I was gonna turn this into like just a rehearsal space, but
Right.
I decided against it.
Yeah. It's kind of like our house is, but we're in the process of our whole house is sort of like a studio rehearsal space. We got a PA in the kitchen.
Oh wow, that's awesome, dude.
Stack in there and a road case over in the corner, and we got a 3-year-old along with our 20-year-old and an 18-year-old now. So it's a little we're getting things sort of sorted out in the last few weeks.
Man,
So,
I wish I could have another kid. I wish
know-
so much. I'm just like getting. I don't know how old you are. I'm 47.
yeah, I'm 40. I'm turning 49 in a week or so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And my wife is. I think she's like past the age to where you can have birth safely. I guess. I don't know if that's true or not, but she's concerned about it, and I'm concerned about it. So
yeah, it's one of those things. We certainly didn't plan it for us. It wasn't like a thing where like we're gonna just have another baby. You kind of, our philosophy has always been sort of like, you just sort of go with the flow, and it's honestly, I will say I was very stressed for the year that we were expecting, just because you're running those numbers and you're thinking about all this stuff. But once they're here, you're just thinking about how great that it is that you get to be with them.
yeah. Oh, dude, you have no idea how insane it was for me. Like when I first became a dad, because I didn't know what it was going to be like.
You've done such a great job, man.
Thanks, man.
I love.
Thank you.
That's one of my favorite things about watching. Seeing what you do on Facebook is seeing your relationship with your son. You're a great dad.
He's a good. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
dude.
thank
And
you.
it helps me. It helps me try to be a better dad. I mean, we all struggle with the responsibility of being in charge of these wonderful little people that didn't ask to be here, and I think it's overwhelming at times, and I think we just need to be honest about the fact that we don't know what the hell we're doing sometimes.
Right.
We don't, and we need each other to go like, hey, you're doing a good job.
Yeah, it's like it's weird. It's like it's like I have like my son, and I have like my own business now, and I'm
Yep.
paying my bills, and I'm doing
Yeah.
all the things right, and I'm still like waiting, like I'm still like trying to figure out. I'm like still going. Is this what being an adult is?
Exactly.
Is
You
this
hit
what-
it on the head.
Is
You
this-
never.
Is this what this means?
I do not feel
Am I an
like an
adult
adult.
yet?
I've never felt like an adult, but I think we gauge everything by what other people have done, and with the reality is, man, like other generations older generations, I think, didn't look like us at this age. I think partially because they didn't have as much choice and as much things they could do, and I don't know. I think we're blessed in that we do we are able to do what we pretty much want to do, and have kids and learn from mistakes of the past and not repeat them. Hopefully, you know.
I was just talking to my wife last night because she's watching a documentary. Oh my God, what was it? Man,
I've probably seen it. I watch all the documentaries.
Wasn't a Rolling Stones documentary. I think it was George Harris. It was one of the, no. It was David. I think it was David Geffen.
I watched that yesterday too. Are you kidding me? I watched this yesterday too.
Yeah. So my wife and I were in bed with
the one that's
yesterday.
on Netflix, right? Yeah, it's a PBS documentary. Right. It was fantastic, wasn't it?
Totally.
It was great.
But
it was so good.
But I was telling my wife though, I was like, you see that guy that's hosting that show right there? I'm at least 10, 15 years older than that guy, and that guy to me looks older than me.
Right.
Because he's got like a mustache, he's got like the jacket, he's talking very stern, seems to be very...
Yeah,
and that compared to how I feel sometimes.
He went to a class, Rich. I'm telling you, I've had this same thought, and I'm just convinced that like back in like the 50s and the 60s and 70s that they had a grown-up class that they don't give us now. Like they just like you have to wear a mustache.
Yeah.
You have to have sideburns down to here. You need a blazer. You need a blazer. You need a pair of nice boots. Zip-up boots on the side. You know, you need a cowboy hat just in case you have to do some ranch work. I don't think we got these lessons.
Dudes look like dudes.
I know.
And I was telling her, I'm like, that guy looks and feels older than me.
Right. You notice like in the Marvel movies, whenever they show like the dads, like they show like, you know, Tony Stark's dad, they kind of nail that sort of stereotypical like what a man's supposed to look like.
Right.
What a grown, responsible man. He'll handle your account. You look at him, he's like, he'll handle your account well. He won't mismanage that account. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And I see some of those dudes out sometimes, you know, and
I do too.
Yeah, like I see, like we were talking about Greg Raleigh earlier before we started taping. I mean, that guy looks like a dad. He looks like he's a professional. He's a businessman. But still, though, he was in his 20s and the 70s, so he was still like in that era, I guess. I don't know if that's like something you just pick up by generation or what.
I don't know. I think I'm waiting for it to happen in my like late 60s, early 70s that I'll suddenly like start just wearing a suit all the time or something, you know. But I have to wear in my day-to-day, I have to wear at least a dress shirt, you know, and so I kind of that was kind of neat. You know, there's a Spoon's Uncle fitted shirt, you know, about his dad. He's like, you know, when I was still growing up, he's talking about finding his dad's old shirt. And I always related to that song because in my job I would have to dress up, like wear a shirt and a tie sometimes, you know. Yeah. And I kind of, part of me was like, oh, I have to do this. But another part of me was kind of like, it's kind of cool that I get to dress up like a grown up a few days a week.
I'm always going to wear my tennis shoes and my black pants and or my colorful shorts.
I always look at the men's clothing like you ever go to like, I guess Walmart or Target or whatever, and you go in the men's section of clothes that like are age appropriate for our age. I'm always like, who would wear this?
I'm not wearing that shit.
Like the nylon pants that are, I guess they're made for like golf.
I have no freaking.
Do you know what I mean though? They're like just, why would you? I mean, it's not that hard. Just a pair of jeans and a t-shirt, man.
Dude, also, you know, here's the other thing, dude. Like me and like all the dudes in Trail of Dead, because we're talking about family earlier and friendly and friendships among the people you've met along the way. So
yeah,
I've been working with Trail of Dead since 2009. I stopped working for them in 2016 when, you know, things got kind of heavy with my kid and I had to do all that. So, but we are pretty much like a family now. But when we hang out with each other. Like when I go see Conrad or I was hanging out with Reese last night. Yeah. Like I'm not. It's not like, yo, dude, you see the game?
Yeah,
man,
I know. I know. Exactly.
I know some people. I definitely have.
There's some people that's like that.
Clutch of friends. I definitely have that clutch of friends.
Yes.
That they only talk to football amongst each other because they know that the rest of us don't really care about it.
Right.
My wife is like, I don't understand how you don't like UT football. I'm like, I just don't.
Yeah.
I'd never have. I like hockey. I do like hockey.
Right.
But as far as like masculine things, I should be doing as a grown up or whatever.
I'm not into that.
I still want to play my guitar.
Me too.
I want to do this.
Thank you.
Whatever this is or whatever this turns into, I'm totally happy.
Thanks for saying that.
I'm totally happy just doing this.
Exactly. Thanks for saying that because I feel exactly the same way. But the thing is, I think there's also, we have different friends that we can enjoy. I can enjoy certain sport, like my friend Nate Grushon, who I went to college with, who I don't see that often. But I can genuinely sit and enjoy watching a college football game with him because he is absolutely he feels the same way I do about music as about sports and about football, and I can enjoy it through his eyes, right? And you can't do that with everybody though. But isn't it great we have some people we don't have to like endure that with? We can just talk about what we actually want to talk about instead of having to pretend like we give a shit about football.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
I'll tell people straight up.
I don't care about football.
Yeah, I don't watch football.
I understand why people do. I don't hate on it. I get it. A lot of my music. I mean, my friend Kelly Minnis from the X-Ups, he's a big sports fan. And I totally get it. A lot of people, it's sort of a correlation thing. They see kind of a similarity. I never have gotten into it.
I think I can pinpoint the moment in my life where I decided I did not ever want to see or have anything to do with football again.
I can too. Go ahead.
Okay. All right.
Let's do it. Let's compare.
Okay. All right. So I come from I have 4 other brothers, half brothers, but basically brothers because I've known them their whole lives. I'm the oldest, and we went to stepfamily's house in Livermore, California one day for, I don't know what we were, I think it was Thanksgiving dinner at my step uncle's house. And his wife was Barbara, who was my stepdad's sister, and they knew that I liked heavy metal music, but these fools were like still stuck on disco, and there's nothing wrong with disco,
right?
It's whatever. They're
Right.
listening to whatever on the radio,
right?
Top 40 type cats,
Right.
And Top 40 really wasn't that bad in the 80s, just let me admit it. But I did have a distinct taste for metal music.
Right.
And so if anything metal,
right.
I wanted to listen to. So we didn't have HBO or any cable at my house, but they did at their house. And so that meant MTV.
Right.
All right. So we're all sitting there.
You're thinking Headbangers Ball.
Right. I'm thinking Headbangers Ball.
Yeah, I was there with you.
So we're all sitting in the living room. They're making the food. They're getting ready for, it's Thanksgiving. It's
Right.
Turkey Bowl. Was that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was at the Turkey Bowl. That happens on Thanksgiving.
Right.
It was that football game. Okay, so right when Headbangers Ball started, I was like, oh shit, first video is Ozzy Osbourne, Ultimate Sin. This is my favorite album right now. This is my favorite album right now.
Dude, me too.
And I got down and I laid in front of the TV like this. My hands like cradled in my palms. And my uncle comes up and goes, "Time for some football," and just fucking changes the fucking channel, dude. And I'm like, ah.
Yeah, dude.
Because I had never seen Ozzy on TV before.
Oh man,
Jakey
Lee, right? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Jakey Lee was on that album.
Yep,
dude. And I just remember
I was watching Headbangers right around that time heavily. Yeah, I know, man.
I will never forget him just walked. He walked up and he looked right at me, like in my eyes,
right,
and goes, big old smile. Time for some football, because he fucking knew I hated football. But I didn't. He didn't know I hated it up until that point. I didn't care about it. But from that point forward, I've always hated it.
It's that thing when grown-ups find out when they're not like when they're like uncles and cousins. When grown-ups find out something and they don't mean to be mean, but they just like mess with little kids.
I think so, yeah. I think I was about 11 or 12.
Yeah,
at that
and
time.
you just like
12, 13.
Because you can get away with it. You can like say something mean to a little kid, and what's he gonna do? Cry?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, dude. Nobody believes kids. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Nobody believes kids.
Nobody ever believes children.
I remember one time
the Lemony Snicket.
I'd never seen Lemony Snickets.
I love the books. Read the books aloud to my children. They're great books.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wonderful.
That's some good dad shit right there.
There's some great books, man.
Go.
And the Harry Potter books too. Me and Jack read through those. I think twice. We read those out loud. That was great.
Wow.
Mary always encouraged that. She's so good about reading to the kids and engaging their little intellects.
I'm thinking I'm gonna take. We're gonna go after this is done. I'm gonna go swimming and then we're gonna go to the bookstore.
Sounds like a plan.
I want to get my dad. I want to get my son some writing books. I want him to learn how to do cursive.
Oh, cool.
They don't teach cursive.
I know,
dude. What?
I know. How's he gonna sign an autograph?
That's dumb.
He's obviously gonna be famous.
You're right. Dude, I was thinking that when he was born, I was like, what am I gonna name him? If he's gonna be famous,
come on,
it can't just be something stupid. So I was like, okay. So me and his mother were like, all right, but it's gonna be either Genesis or Desi. And she goes,
man.
and she didn't like the Desi name. And I'm like, if you want to name her Genesis, that's yours. Okay, cool. I like that one. That's fine. This is the one I'm choosing. And so then she's like, well, I don't like the name. So I almost ended up naming Desi Diodario.
Oh, wow. Like the strings?
Like the guitar strings.
Wow. I would have, yeah, I love that. I would have known exactly what that was
almost did
about.
that. Then I thought, nah, that's like Ernie Ball. What's up, dude? I'm Ernie Ball. You know what I mean?
I'm Jim Dunlop.
I'm GHS.
I'm Jim Dunlop.
I'm GHS Boomer.
I would like everyone to meet my beautiful daughter, Jim Dunlop.
This is her younger sister, Blue Steel.
When speaking in names, when Lily,
these are all guitar string names.
When we were pregnant with Lily, our second born, who's 18 now, we asked Jackson for his suggestions for a name. We named her Eva Lily Catherine Lorelei.
Wait, hold up.
Eva is my mom's name. Okay. Eva Lily Catherine Lorelei Clark. So Lorelei's after the Cocteau Twins name.
Oh, cool.
Cocteau Twins song. And
that's like that's like a lot of Mexicans. They give their kids like tons of names.
I tell you,
it's
a wonderful tradition. So why would you have to? You know why? Because you don't want to offend anybody in the family. You want to make sure you cover all your bases.
No, because my dad's like trying to tell me that my middle name was Acosta for real, and I'm like, no, it's not. On my birth certificate, it says my middle name. Mm-hmm. I actually switched my middle name to my first name. So my first name is actually Raymond.
Oh,
they
okay.
named me after my grandfather. And then my middle name was Ricardo.
Okay.
So I went down, since everybody called me Rich anyways and Ricardo, I just went down to Social Security and had them swap it out. That's it. Just went dunk.
Got it. Moved
That's it. Yeah. But anyways, and then my dad tried to put Acosta. I'm like, I'm not trying to have 4 names. I'm happy with 3 names. He's like, you need my name. You're my son. I'm not taking that Acosta shit, dude. Thank you.
We asked Jack what he wanted when he was little, what he thought we should call his baby sister, and he said hamburger.
Hamburger.
Yeah, that was his suggestion. Hamburger.
It may have sounded cooler in Spanish.
Yeah,
hamburguesa.
It was cool.
That
at
sounds
Lily's,
like a girl's name. Hamburguesa.
Yeah, it does. At Lily's graduation in I guess in May, we kind of realized that the longer name thing tradition in Mexican culture, because there was so many other names that were called like that, and I thought it was really cool. And beautiful sounding names, gorgeous. They spent time making, and it was like it kind of like, oh, okay, that's kind of what we were doing. We wanted to pack as many as we could in there. You know, you don't know how many chances you get to name.
Well, I didn't want to. I knew that bringing it back to Desi's name.
Yeah,
I was gonna be like, as soon as he was born, I was like, his name is Desi, because I like Desi Arnaz, and he was one of the more popular Latino actors from the 50s with Lucille Ball, and one of the first, really.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like groundbreaking, very important. Even though I know he had his own issues. There was a little documentary I saw. He had a drinking problem. I didn't know.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, so I wanted to name him Desidario, but I liked,
That's
and
cool,
then
man.
but I wanted to name him Desi, short for Desidario. But again,
That's a beautiful name, though.
It is.
Desidario?
Desidario.
Oh, that's
so Desi Arnaz, his full name is Desidario Arnaz.
Oh, wow.
It's just short. They just cut it in half. Desi for short.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So, so I wanted to call Desi, right? Mm-hmm. And short for Desidario. And she goes, well, I don't like that. So then his mother, again, in my way on the name decision-making process. And I'm just like, all right. She goes, why don't we just give him a cool middle name like Dario? Like, Dario Argento, the Italian film that makes. And I was like, Desidario. That works. And I'm like, that's cool.
That's, yeah.
So Desi.
And Dario's a cool name.
Dario,
too.
yeah. And I'm like, okay, if you don't like Desi, take Dario. Dario's a sexy name. Chicks are going to like that. Or whoever's going to like that. Desidario. Oh, if you don't like Desidario, how about Didi? Just call yourself Didi.
And if he ever wants to get a cool band name, he can call himself Desert Audio.
Desert Audio, dude. There's so much things.
You know what I'm saying? He could be like a chill wave thing.
I just made sure
Desert Audio.
His name was gonna be like some cool like DDM, or you can just go with the classic Mendez. People just call me Mendez a lot.
You got to prepare for the best with a kid's name.
I'm looking out for him.
Yeah, you got to prepare for the best. You got to be like, this is a name that can potentially have greatness.
But just talking about children and stuff, I had Chris Simpson on my podcast here. I don't know, a little over a year ago, right before the pandemic happened.
Right.
And dude, that guy's got like 4 kids.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. You know who Chris Simpson I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I
From
think
Mineral.
so. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was. I was like, one day I was like, dude, do you ever just like get on your bed with your entire family and just like fucking?
It's kind of the dream.
Just soak it in.
It's kind of you when they're little, you get chances to do that.
Yeah.
The older they get, the more they're like, get out of here, you're a weirdo.
Yeah. When Desi starts growing leg hair, he ain't gonna be on my bed, dude.
But my mom used to say though about children like that. When I was, in my 20s, she would say, I still feel the same way I do about you when you were little. And I didn't really understand that. It's like, but you do, as they get older, the challenges and the frustrations become more complicated and different.
I believe it.
But it's absolutely like the feeling you have. Like when sometimes, I'll go in and I'll see how Jack's doing. And he's 20 years old. He's practically a grown man. And I'll see him sleeping and I feel the same feeling I had when he was a little boy. And I think that's kind of, it is such a, it's a choice it's a decision we make to be parents, but it is not without its moments of pain. It's hard to explain it, but it's like you're kind of, I think it's like what you're talking about in your song about death, where you have to live presently. You have to be aware of what we are all going to lose, and to not let that, that's the whole trick of life, is not to let that affect the way you live. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think a part of it is, for me, it's hard, like, that's just being really honest about what people like. How could you possibly be stressed about having, a baby? And, some people,
right,
at this point in your life, it's because inherently I had to get over the fact that at some point, when I look at her and I see, and I'm so happy, I have to go, well, she's going to have to deal with a lot of stuff that I did, like, because my parents were older when they had me. So there's a certain kind of thing where when you have children, it's also you're thinking about in terms of, I don't think people really think about this or understand this that don't have kids. It's that you're thinking about the fact that having children is kind of selfish in a way. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like you're saying, here, I'm going to give you everything you need to an extent, all I can, but you're ultimately on your own at some point. So that's always been challenging for me as a parent.
I can see that.
I think a lot about this stuff. It's hard. A lot of people I think don't understand. Like when I talk to them about like things I think about or write songs about, I tend to dwell more on the things that a lot of people I know don't, and it's hard to get past that. And that's why that song about death really helped me, because it helped me, recognize that you have to reject a bit of the obvious elephant in the room.
Oh, I know, dude.
You know what I mean? You have to acknowledge it, accept it, but go, okay, that's a given. Let's get on with it and enjoy our lives.
I already feel it already.
I know.
My son's like 7 years old now, and he'll just come up to me and he'll be like yesterday he goes, can I have some wings? I was like, okay, cool. They're like like a little bag of frozen wings you buy at H-E-B.
Right.
He loves those.
Yeah,
so
I do too.
So he goes over there and I get him some wings, and he sees that they're different, because he usually likes like the really hot ones.
Yeah.
And I get him, he ate them all, so I'm giving him the regular barbecue ones, and he goes, am I gonna like those? And I was like, he goes, are those my favorite? And I'm like, they're your favorite now, dude. That's it. This is what you eat.
You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit.
If you don't want these, then I don't know what else you could have. Apple. We have a whole bunch of fruits, avocados, raw nuts over there. We have all kinds of organic, whatever you want, or you can have these. And then I made him them. He goes, I'm done. And I saw him walking to the trash can. I'm like, stop right there. And I go over there, and this motherfucker only took like 2 or 3 bites out of each. I'm like, no, that's not how this works. He goes, well, they're not my favorite. I'm like, then we're not going swimming, dude. Gotta know what to tell you. We're not throwing away food.
Exactly.
So there's definitely but there was like what I'm getting back to what you were saying.
Yeah, I feel what you're talking about.
There was like that instinct of like, oh, okay,
right,
that's cool. Oh, is that making you uncomfortable? Oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
Oh, okay. Oh, you want that kind of cereal? All right, cool. My wife pointed it out to me last year. She's like, you kind of like let him do whatever he wants to do.
Right.
And I was like, I gotta reel it in.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now I'm shifting modes to where like
Right.
I'm expecting him like that trash. Like that should have been done already.
Right.
You know
There's
what I mean?
things that you have to. We're responsible for not making them intolerable people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
right.
to not make them a difficult person for someone else to have to deal with.
Right, because the more I help him, the more he's gonna expect to be helped.
But man, you've hit on one of the biggest challenges in parenting is like the temptation to just accommodate constantly.
Hard
because
to fight.
because you don't want to feel guilty when you go back to your room and go, I don't know how much time I have. But these are you know what I mean? This constant
Yeah.
push and pull where you're thinking about yourself as you get older. These are things that I think everybody acts on. It's just I tend to think about it and kind of I think it's good and it's bad, for better or for worse. And I think that's kind of for me like I think that's where a lot of my songs come from, is like thinking through a lot of these really kind of weird sort of thought things that I think everybody feels, but it's just hard to express,
Right.
without making it weird. You know what I mean? Because it's stuff everybody thinks about, like, oh, we're all gonna die, you know. But when's the avenue to talk about that? And yet, it is probably one of the most, you know, singular facts that informs how we conduct ourselves on a day-to-day basis. And the fact that we don't know when, and we don't have, you know, we're just all just trying to, and that's what it is. All of it is just sort of trying to make the most of it. What, you know. And not to be, and I mean, I sound extremely dour when I say that. I don't want to, but I mean, it's just the reality. So much of what we have to deal with is based upon our own recognition of our own limitations, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know that every time I leave the house, I might not make it back.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I get that. I get that. And I understand how it is, and I don't want to ruin his experience, but like, all right, buddy, here's what's gonna happen. One day you're gonna die and be gone forever.
No, and that's where it's like that's exactly the
yeah,
point, is
yeah,
that you
that
can't
shit.
like you have to, as a parent, you have to bite down on that.
Yeah.
Like, it's, even though it's, and I have a real hard time with that sometimes, not like talking this way around my kids, because I tend to, but letting my actions be determined sometimes by those neuroses and stresses and fears that you have, you know, where I'm just like, I think a lot of it has to do with, grief, loss. When you go through grief and loss, it makes you edgy. It makes you more aware.
It makes you apprehensive.
It does. It makes you
Yeah.
more aware of how much there is to lose. It makes you aware of how tenuous it
Right.
all
Oh
is.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Totally. I know what you're saying now.
Yeah. But it's one of those things too that I think it's just because I'm comfortable with it doesn't mean, or we're comfortable talking about, doesn't mean everybody is.
Oh
man.
yeah. I mean, I know that. I mean, I got people. I have friends of mine. That I do know. I have friends of mine that have laughed at. I get teased and I get made fun of a lot because of my view on spirituality and how I feel, and I know that when I pass, I know that something else is going to happen, and whether or not, excuse me, whether or not that's something in my genetics from being Native American and just coming from a tribe that's, I mean, all the Native Americans are all spiritual, mega spiritual.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, Desi and I are both registered Native Americans. I don't know if it's just generations upon generations of just spirituality embedded in me, but I can't.
Well, that's very clear.
I can't help but feel or know
Right.
that this is definitely not the end, or this, if anything, this is all just a waiting room to where we really need to go, and then that's where we're going to be with everybody that has already been
Right.
gone, or being a past family, or whatever. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but
I get that sense in your work and your songs.
yeah,
I'm
I'm morbidly curious about,
I am too,
about death.
and I think that's a part of the thing for me too. Is that
Just because I don't want to be afraid of it. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. I grew up with so much utter certainty about what is waiting, and I don't fully know. I know that there's something. I personally believe that there's something bigger than us. I don't know how to define it. I know that's just my own view because I see too much things that make me think that there is some sense to things, but I don't know what happens after.
Dude.
So that's part of it's the X factor, right?
You know what really sort of drove the whole afterlife thing to experience, or idea, or if you lived in my brain and experienced my reality and how I perceive the world, the fact that there is an afterlife is because it's not a Christian afterlife. It's not like a
Right.
kind of religious afterlife. It's
Right.
it's something that's been there eternally, and I got a lot of friends of mine. They tease me about it, but at the same time, I've seen things, dude, that just
I have too.
I've seen ghosts. I have seen ghosts. I have definitely seen ghosts, and not just like a little, what was that? Or
Right.
not just like a little
Right.
like a little thing at this corner of my eye. I have legitimately seen something
Yeah.
that was like a real person.
Right.
It wasn't a hallucination because, I mean, I'll tell you really quick. I went up to. I'll make this relatively long story, mega short.
Okay.
All right, I go up to go play a gig in Dallas. One half of the band's like, we're gonna go to Commerce after the show, and the other half of the band, which is just me and the drummer goes, "Hey, can you house sit with me tonight? My dad wants me to house sit because the drummer was from Dallas."
Oh, okay.
And the rest of the band was from Commerce, and they had all met at school in Commerce.
Okay.
So me and my friend Jeremy go to his dad's house, and we're house sitting, right?
Right.
Cool. We play the gig. We leave Deep Elm about 1:30, 1:45, because it took that long for the guys to pay us. We get paid. We go both separate ways. We end up at my drummer's house, Jeremy's dad's house. And we walk in the house, and it's nice. It's in a really kind of like a rich neighborhood. It looked like a really rich neighborhood, like a long catwalk.
Right.
You know, it was like a ranch style.
Rather stately.
Yeah, ranch style house, trees everywhere. Didn't see any power lines anywhere. It was, and we weren't drunk because the whole thing about not drinking was drinking around that time. I don't know how it is now, but drinking in Dallas and being pulled over. It's like you're going to get pulled over. Deep Elm was notorious for like pulling people. There's
Right.
like 20 million cops out there.
Yeah.
So we get to the house. The first thing I do is I say, "Hey, do you think your dad has any beer?" And he goes, "Go check." So I go into the kitchen, open up the refrigerator. In the refrigerator, there was a 6-pack of pumpkin ale. This pumpkin ale, whatever it is. And I was like, "Oh, this is cool. I've seen this before." And I grabbed that. I had just quit smoking. My friend Jeremy was like, "Let's go into the back and I want to smoke a cigarette." I was like, "Cool." And so we're sitting in the back on the lawn, on the patio furniture, and there's a sliding glass door. And through the sliding glass door, if you're sitting outside, you can look into the kitchen.
Right.
And in the kitchen, you can see the refrigerator, and you can see where the sink was, and other stuff over here. In the middle of the kitchen, there was a cutting island.
Right.
You know, you
right.
prepare food on
Right.
and stuff,
Right in the center. I'm
Okay.
picturing it in my mind.
Yeah. And so I'm looking, like, you're Jeremy, okay?
Okay. And you're outside.
And I'm outside. And the sliding glass door is, like, right here. So you're Jeremy, and I'm, like, we're talking.
So his back's to the door window.
To the window.
Gotcha.
And I'm looking at Jeremy, and he's telling me a story, and we're drinking these beers, right? We're trying to get a buzz on us at least.
Sure.
And this is like 2:30 in the morning already.
Yeah.
And so I'm drinking, and he's telling me the story, and whatever the story is, he's laughing. He's being really loud. And I was like, "Oh, cool." And then in the periphery of my eye, I see somebody walk into the kitchen. And the first thing I did was like, I went like this. And then it was a woman. And it was a woman. She was, I swear to God, dude, she was like about 5'5", 5'6". She was skinny. She had a long nightgown that went down to her feet. She had no shoes on. She had long, either dark blonde or light brown hair.
Yeah.
And it was long. It went down to like right about here.
So this wasn't like, this was like a person in
A
there.
person.
Just
It
a
was
person
a
in there.
straight up person walking, hands moving.
Like
And
not transparent.
no,
or
not
anything.
floating or none of that shit.
Wow, dude. That's so freaky.
And her skin was really white, and she was like, she looked to be about, in her face, she looked to be about, I can still remember it. She looked to be about in her mid-30s. And she walks in, and she walks between the cutting island and the refrigerator, and then walks this way towards, like straight up walking towards us.
Yeah.
And then she turns this way, and she does it again, and then she walks down out of sight into the hallway, into the living room.
So she just like was it almost robotic?
Yeah, she just walked around it.
Dude, that's freaky, man.
And the first thing I thought, we're being too loud. We just woke somebody up.
Because you're not even conceiving of the fact that this
Not
isn't
even
real.
fucking remotely even
Right.
thinking nothing. I ain't thinking shit about no ghosts, no nothing, right? And
Dude, that is freaky.
yeah, and she walks out, and the one thing I noticed about her is like when she wherever she was looking, she was like just looking straight, like it was like so I thought because I was trying to make eye contact with her, I thought she was gonna like look outside at us or something. She didn't. She walked in there, and then down the hallway, which again, the sliding glass door is right here. I go like this, and I can see her in the fucking living room, and she's walking in circles in the living room. And then my friend, meanwhile,
She's
Jeremy,
doing the same thing
yeah.
in the living room.
So meanwhile, Jeremy's still talking to me, right?
Oh,
And he goes, "Yeah, about the whole thing about the he's like being loud." And then I was like, "Hey," I hit the table. I'm like, "Hey, dude."
Yeah.
I'm like, let's keep it down. I'm like, let's keep it down, dude. And he goes, "What? Why?" And he put his head down. I was like, "Why?" Like I don't know what he was thinking. And then I said, "I think we just woke up your dad's girlfriend," because I knew that his parents were divorced. So I just blurted out, "I think we woke up your dad's girlfriend, and she's probably pissed." And it's like 3 a.m, dude.
It looked to you like she was pissed and she was pacing to like, you guys should.
No, she didn't look pissed. I just assumed she was.
Just the walking in a circle,
because
man.
it's 2:30 in the morning, and she's walking around and stuff. And Jeremy's being loud.
Yeah.
So I assume she must be pissed. So I said, "Hey, Jeremy, let's keep it down. I think we woke up your dad's girlfriend. She looks pissed. I mean, she's probably pissed."
Right.
And he goes, "My dad's girlfriend?" He's like, "My dad doesn't have a girlfriend." And I'm like, "I just saw somebody." And he leans back in his chair and he goes, "Did you see that damn ghost, Rich?" He just like plopped back in his chair. He
Like
goes,
it's like, boom, boom.
yeah. He goes, "Did you see that damn ghost?" He's like, "Tell me you saw the ghost." And I'm like, "I didn't see a ghost. I saw a woman walk in here." And then he leans up. He goes, "Dude, long white nightgown, no shoes, hair like this. Maybe 35,
Maybe this
40,
is some information he could have told you before.
30,
right?
35 years old."
There's a ghost here.
I'm like, and I was like, "Dude, fuck you." And I get up and I go through the sliding glass door. Nobody in the living room.
That's so. The part that's really super creeping me out is the walking in circles,
Yeah.
dude. That's creepy. That's like, you got to question what that's about. I know
It was
you have.
it was like I could just walk up to her and just poke her arm.
You
like,
were
"Excuse me."
you were watching a replay of like that woman's like routine of like worry or something, like something in the past. I'm always fascinated by that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah. Then Jeremy goes, he's like, "That's why you're here, dude. I don't want to be here alone." He's like, "I've been seeing that ghost since I've been 13. You're the only person that's ever seen it besides me."
Dude, that's crazy, dude.
And he's like, "One time I woke up and I saw her in my face. She was like in my face.
dude,
I woke up.
seriously.
She's like right in my face, staring at me." He's like, I hate being here alone."
Oh man.
The next day, we meet up with the rest of the band in Commerce, right? We tell the story to the guys in Commerce. They lose their minds. They're like, "Oh my God, you're the only person that's ever seen that." He's like, "Jeremy's been talking about that ghost for as long as we've known Jeremy."
That's
and I never knew
crazy.
about the damn ghost. So,
That is crazy, dude.
not to mention all the ghosts and shit, weird stuff I've seen working in clubs downtown Austin. There's been plenty of times I've seen weird shit in Austin.
I have too.
For real.
I've seen
like
some
real.
weird stuff. Up at Headhunters upstairs, there's stuff up there.
I heard about that. I was never. You're talking about. Not the. There was a little bar up there for a little bit.
It was
right?
a little, lookout. And
Yeah.
you'd go up there, and it was just like the rogues gallery of every, the seediest of Austin would be happening up there. But yeah, you go up there sometimes, and I remember one time we were playing, and we were playing down on the ground. I don't even know if I've ever told Mary about this story or not, because she was playing with us. We were playing as a trio, and there would be people up there all the time.
All the time.
All the time. And so it was just fairly slow night. So there wasn't anybody up there. We had gone up there. And it was something where I just kept seeing this weird face looking down. like while we were playing, and it was enough to distract me to where on the
Wow.
video you can see me looking up at it.
Whoa.
But it was freaking me out because I had just come down and there was nobody up there. I'd gone up there and gotten ready for the show and came down and we played, and it was just some people on the floor, so there was nobody up there. And as soon as we started playing first song, I look up and there's just face pops out. Freaked me out, and it kind of rattled me. I'd kind of forgotten about it actually until recently, and I asked Brad, who was in the band at the time, if he saw anything, because there was nobody up there. It was like there wasn't any place to hide up there. It was just basically a row of like seats.
Right.
And a couple other times downtown, I've seen a couple of freaky things, but I've never seen like a full body apparition that's like that powerful, like that.
Yeah.
That doesn't look.
It
transparent.
made me question how often I see ghosts or even interact with ghosts. Mm-hmm. That's how real it looked. It wasn't like it wasn't translucent. It wasn't floating. There wasn't anything weird about it other than she was just looking straight forward the whole time.
Oh, the other time,
that's about it.
I was telling you about my dad. When we released the first J Satellite record, which was called Kicks Against the Pricks, we did a record release. Oh yeah, dude, this is a freaky story. We did a record release in Bryan at this place called Stover Boys Burgers. It was like this local burger place that was really cool. They would let us do shows there sometimes. And
Burger Boy Burger.
Stover Boys.
Stover Boys.
Mm-hmm. It's an awesome burger place. It was
Cool.
like, it was kind of like, local business.
Yeah, like a little local hit for a little while.
Yeah, it was a
Okay.
cool little place that would support the local scene a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And we were doing this show, and I remember my friend Kelly played keyboards and like backup guitar on it, like he did on the record. And we had a bunch of our friends out, and we're playing this show, and we get like almost through the whole set, and I look to the back, and it wasn't a huge place, right? And I'm looking straight in the back, and I swear I see my dad standing
What?
in the back of the venue, shaking, like going like this, looking at me, shaking his head. I swear.
Really?
And I went like, like, okay, is this just me being very emotional and like, because I was feeling pretty in the moment of like, oh, this is great, I'm doing this thing, and I looked and I saw him, and he was going like, just looking straight at my eyes.
There's a word for that. You know what that's called?
What's that called?
It's called visitation.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's what it's called. It's called visitation.
It's very
and it's
weird.
it's an actual. Let me see here. I think we could even.
He was he looked very disappointed, to say the least.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know, but I've also read things about people saying that we can manifest things, that spirits will see what we want them to see, or spirits will show us what they think that we expect. Do you know what I mean? I've read.
No, I never heard of that.
I've read some things about that. That there's a lot of psychic connective energy between the people who see spirits and the people and spirits themselves, and there's questions whether or not it's all a one-sided deal.
I've never heard of that, dude.
Some people believe that you can manifest. There are certain people who are sensitives who can manifest things, like spirits. I mean, I think there's, or what they call like a poltergeist, or there's like, what is that? I can't remember the name of that. What it's called when someone is able to actually manifest some kind of a
Medium.
dark spirit. Medium, but it's like whether it's actually some people think they can project it. They can project the spirit. I don't know.
Oh, that's called the medium. They call it in Native American culture. They call that a hollow bone.
Right, but I'm talking like the opposite, where it's somebody actually a spirit can manifest through somebody's like pain and stuff like that.
Oh.
You can actually have this might be a science fiction movie I saw one time.
No.
But there's something about that. I'm trying to remember what it is. What's
No,
it called?
but getting back to the point of the songs in the record, that I made, it's very It's very spiritually driven.
Yeah.
And a lot of the songs I've written from all the songs on there are from 2012 till I recorded in 2018. But
What's Eternal Black Rainbow then? When did you write that stuff?
I wrote that. I wrote Eternal Black Rainbow in 2014.
Okay.
I wrote that.
So you're recording some stuff The new stuff is kind of old.
Oh, you're talking about the song Eternal Black Rainbow?
No, just the album.
Oh,
Like
the
when
album.
you did the album, because you're talking about the new stuff you're working on, right? Or the new album.
No. Okay, so here's the thing. So Eternal Black Rainbow is the name of the song that was supposed to be on the album Eternal Black Rainbow.
Right.
But it never made it. It didn't
on.
make it onto the album
Right.
because the guys weren't really feeling it.
Yeah, you played me that demo.
Yeah,
remember?
it's great. I like it.
is
I love
really
it.
good.
But the guys weren't really feeling it, so whatever. But we still named it Eternal Black Rainbow because I had already paid the artist to do it.
That's kind of cool. It's kind of Zeppelin, right? Like kind of like Houses of the Holy, you know?
Yeah.
Where they did this Houses of the Holy on the album after that on Physical Graffiti.
I mean, I'm gonna do the song.
Oh yeah,
the
it
song
should go on the next record.
Yeah, it's going to.
And people would be-
I'll release it as a single.
and lean into that, like Zeppelin did that. They put out House of the Holy, and then they
I
put
didn't
out.
think about that.
And they put out.
Yeah.
It's actually a thing. Bands have done that mirroring, like Dokken.
Right.
Dokken did Back for the Attack. Back for the Attack was actually the B-side to the Dream Warriors single.
What?
The song Back for the
I
Attack.
remember it was a single, and I had that single.
Yes, I have a 7-inch
I had
and
the
the
single.
single.
I had
of
the
it.
cassette.
But the Back for the Attack song, the title track for the album that came out after that, they never used it. It was on the B-side only.
Wow.
You deep down, do now I'm on fire, do down. That's a great track.
Oh yeah.
I win, you lose, you're in trouble, cause I'm back. I don't know why they didn't put it on the album.
Crazy.
Dokken.
Yeah.
Not Don Dokken, George Lynch.
George Lynch.
But we tolerate Don Dokken because of George Lynch, don't we?
Exactly. Yeah, dude. George Lynch, fucking guitar virtuoso.
We could talk
guitar
about.
hero.
We could just talk about metal for like 5 hours.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So yeah, man, I wrote these songs so I could be I myself. A lot of these songs, so I could be more myself, more comfortable with the idea that more comfortable with the idea of death and dying.
Yeah.
Because people were dying around me at the time.
Oh, yeah.
My dad was sick. I have a son now at the time, so I'm like, what am I gonna do when I die? And he's gonna be so confused. So like all like these things, and I was struggling with the idea of death. So which kind of like spawned that record. The first song and the last song on that record are actually one long song.
Yeah, the intro and the outro.
Yeah, the intro and the outro, the same song basically. And those were the two songs that were keeping me from finishing the record because I was really, really, really depressed. I went through a really heavy depression.
Yeah.
Shit, for anyone who's ever been depressed, let me just tell you, it literally looks like everything's gray. You have no energy, no desire to do anything that you used to like to do. It's one of the darkest places you can ever be. You never felt so alone in a crowded room.
Right.
I know that sounds very cliche, but that is exactly.
That is a spot on. That is exactly how it feels.
You
Rich.
don't want to bother anybody with how you're feeling, which makes you just feel even more disconnected. It's a vicious circle. You lose. It's just.
And you're angry that no one understands either. Too.
And no one understands.
Right.
I was getting angry with I remember one time I went into the front yard of my house, trying to do my fucking lawn, and I just couldn't break. I just said, I just screamed out loud. I'm like, just fucking give me a fucking normal day. I was so fucking mad.
Right.
Because
I totally understand.
I'm just like, I just want to be fucking. I want to be left alone. Leave me alone now.
Right. How much can one person take? Right.
Well, I'm a single dad and I'm struggling, and I don't think that had anything to do with it. This was something else.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just a culmination, though, of things. It's just it stacks and stacks and stacks. And when you have depression, it's like, if everything's at its best in your circumstances, you still can't function.
Oh, right, because you can't see you can't see the good things.
Right, and then you apply on that on top of the normal everyday way that life just doesn't go the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, and life's still going on around you, and you still you're still on this carousel, and everybody else is smiling, so you don't know what else to do but smile too.
Right.
So then you feel like you're faking it, and now you're feeling like you're pretending, and now you feel like a liar. And so it's just depression
it's
is
just
a
a
very
spiral.
I started going. I had to go back to go see my therapist. I had to start exercising, stop drinking, started eating better, trying to sleep more. I would go to sleep and wake up in fits of claustrophobia.
Right.
I would have to take medication. It was pretty fucking terrifying. So those two songs, the front one and the back one, those songs are about that depression that prevented me from putting that album out sooner than it did.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, I wanted everything that I had been writing and so excited about to sort of just be bookended by these two things, and make them good songs. I wanted those things to bookend all the things I've been trying to do, be bookended by the things that were preventing me to do it.
Right, and I wanted to say that like that record really helped me get through a really rough time in my life in the end of 2019 when my work went crazy and I was out of town for like a month and a half, and then the next and still dealing with the loss of my mom in early 2019. But it gave me, I think it's one of those things where it gave me a certain focus of like, okay, like yeah, I someone else feels you kind of put voice to a lot of things that are really hard to describe. And I feel like for myself, like you're talking about what you went through, I'm kind of getting to that place now in my life where I'm finally able to go, I got some stuff I got to sort out. And it takes time to almost accept that you're ready to fix it. You know what I mean? Like you almost have to admit there's a problem. It's just like anything else.
Right.
And then you have to understand what the problem is, but there's a whole process of getting yourself ready for diagnosing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally know what you mean.
That's really where I am right now. And I feel really good about it because I feel like I'm finally getting to a place where I'm able to sort it out, but I relate to a lot of what you're talking about. And I appreciate your songs, man. I mean, honestly, the song about death, and particularly, and just in general, it's one of those records that has a lot of very deep, dark stuff on it, a lot of heavy subjects, but there's a triumph in the music. There's a rising above. It's the kind of thing.
It really does.
Yes.
A friend of mine that's been a fan of my music for a long time now, lives in California, and he called me up. He goes, "Hey, I listened to the record." I was like, "Cool. What'd you think?" And he goes, "Well, man, it's really dark. It's just there's a he's like, it's good, but there's a dark tint. I'm used to the happy rich. I'm used to the cool, quirky lyrics about this and that. And I'm used to." And I'm like, well, I wasn't really feeling like that.
Yeah.
That's all I can really say about
Rich,
it.
it's honest. It's honest.
I was feeling like that.
But I think the only way forward when you're going through dark times is to have an undying faith in your ability to get through it. And that's what I hear in the music,
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Good.
Speaking of music, I like all the stuff that you sent me, too.
Thank you.
When you offered for us to play the J Satellite thing, I think at that, it used to be Momo's.
Yeah.
What is it called now on the drag? No, not Momo's. I'm sorry.
Love Goat. Talking about Love Goat.
Yeah, that's
the
Love
little
Goat,
place
the
Love Goat.
LG,
I don't know what happened to Love Goat. I don't know if they're still going or not. But they were a fun little place. I mean, they pretty much let us do whatever we want, which was kind of nice. They had an upstairs and a downstairs.
Yeah, I remember you gave me like a bunch of your music, and then I listened to some of them. I didn't know which ones I was listening to. I just put.
I know there's just a lot
because I just like listening to just whatever. But you gave me everything, and then you were like super excited, and we're playing the songs, and I could see you singing along.
Oh yeah, dude.
I remember thinking, I fucking swear to God, I remember thinking we're not playing good enough for that guy.
Oh man, it was so good.
And we don't sound as good because of where we're at for this guy.
Oh, that's great.
This guy needs to hear. And I remember literally thinking, we're not playing good enough right now for this dude. And we're not sounding good enough right now for that guy.
That's very sweet.
I swear to God. And then afterwards,
it was amazing. You kidding me? I've watched that performance many times. I have it on film.
Cool, man. Yeah, dude, I think you sent that to me. Reese was like, he's like, yeah, that's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. Afterwards, like we're loading up.
So great.
And then everyone's like, yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, I know, dude. He's insane. He's an animal.
Oh yeah.
I've seen Reese do the most insane drum stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, the first time you guys played upstairs when we were using Cam's Pearl kit.
Yep.
That was pretty cool. And I remember Cam just like going, dude, Jason Reese is completely destroying my kit. It was great. It was great. And I mean, that's what I'm talking about, man. I feel very, very blessed to have great friends like you and have so many friends in Austin,
cool, man.
and be surrounded by so much great music.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's pretty much, I mean, a lot of my ambitions I had when I was a kid or what I wanted to do with music, I kind of felt like I missed the boat. And I think the best thing about,
What do you mean, missed the boat?
you know, I didn't jump. I didn't
make
I
it?
didn't, well, not make it. I didn't spend
I know
my
a lot
20s.
of dudes like that.
Well, it's not about making it. I just didn't spend my 20s touring when I had time, right? I just kind of didn't. I should have before we started having kids. But I don't feel like that now because I feel like, dude, I've gotten everything I've ever really wanted to get out of music.
That really is a great attitude, man, because I can't tell you.
Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly.
Because it's like, it's not about success or making it. It's about being able to see great bands who are also amazing people and great friends. Mm-hmm. And it's everything. It's not just one thing, you know. It's not like this great band whose members are nightmare people who I would never want to associate with.
I mean, like, seriously, dude, like, look at me. Like just because I was really good at connecting amps really fast and tuning guitars, you know, I've been around the world a few times with Trail of Dead, and and then out of that, it's not just work. We actually grew into an actual family. Like, we're a family now,
right?
And,
that's clear.
Yeah,
I mean, you can see that
it's beyond work. It's beyond because when I was working for them for the first couple of years, I didn't even hear a Trail of Dead song. I just showed up to the gig and helped them out, and that was it. Hang out.
You've filled in and stuff now.
Yeah. So it's been, but being good at tuning guitars, that's what did. And I never was like, when's my turn? You know, I know some dudes like that. I know some dudes are like, I'm good at, I'm the best drummer, or I'm top 5 guitar players, and I don't understand why. I don't know why that guy's like on tour with so and so, and I don't know why this guy just barely, he's not even from Austin, man. And I hear that shit.
Yeah, my dad told me something a long time ago that I think is really great. He said, you know, I can't remember what the context was, but he said basically, like, if you want to know the quickest route to bitterness and unhappiness, then choose to not find absolute joy in the success of others. Choose to be bitter and to feel like others are getting things that I deserve, and you will be miserable. But if you choose to genuinely find joy and celebrate other people's successes because you genuinely are happy for them, then if you can do that, then you're balanced, then you have a balanced life. Then you're not. It's not about you. It's not about your own. No, I think ambition is a good thing. Everybody has to. I think all artists have to toot their own horn. It's part of what the deal is. We have to promote ourselves. But, you know, to me, especially as I get older, it's really more about the other people on the bill than it is about me. You know what I mean? Than it is about what I'm trying to do. I mean, of course, it's a given. I want to be there to play my music. But if the other acts aren't having a good time and we are not all on the same page, and then the audience sees that too, you know. So it's really, to me, it's like that's really what I'm learning as I get older. I find a lot of joy in seeing others' success.
Since the whole COVID thing happened, my band hasn't really played any shows or even any rehearsals or anything.
Right.
And so I know that Christian started another band with
Startographers.
Brandon.
Yeah.
And so that's cool.
They're really great.
Reese went ahead, started another band. With a friend of mine, with Eric Sanger, my friend Eric, called Band of Bastards.
Oh, cool. I didn't know about that.
Yeah. And I'm not, I mean, I've helped people write. I've done guitar leads on stuff. But I've steady, like, haven't really been writing. And, I was wondering if we were still a band.
Yeah.
You know, because everyone's like sort of moving on and doing their own thing, and I myself am not ready to step on stage and stuff because I'm just not confident in my playing yet.
Yeah.
I haven't played. I've been sort of ignoring my instruments, and just physically I'm not in the place where I want to be.
Yeah.
And so we had a little party here on Friday, on a Sunday, a little private party for my birthday.
This past Sunday.
Yeah.
Cool.
And we're all in here. And then the guys are here, and they're like, "So we're gonna play that show, or?" And Reese wasn't there. I'm like, "Dude, this is all Reese." He's like, "Dude, we're still a band." I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, cool.
See, that's
All right.
awesome.
Yeah.
See, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, I think that you are.
Yeah. So it was reassuring that that Jason Westbrook and Christian Kyle were like, dude, yeah, we're still a
man.
band, dude.
Yeah.
We need to play a show, and I was like, so they're looking to me for that
Right.
leadership to take
Absolutely.
over. So I'm trying to make it happen, but Reese won't get back to me.
Sometimes we underestimate the thing is, I think we get busy, Rich, doing our things and creative stuff, and especially when you have depression and you have that and you go through that, it's a daily managed thing, you know.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we underestimate just how great and the people that we've surrounded ourselves by sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Because we don't realize, I've made some good decisions. You
Yeah,
know?
I'm
I've
blessed.
actually made some good decisions, and I actually am around the kind of people who are supportive.
Mm-hmm.
We get used to, even psychologically, after years of finding the right people, we still kind of have, I think, sometimes a bit of that old part that kind of goes, well, and we assume things are going to be terrible. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Yeah.
And it's kind of nice when that doesn't happen. You know, I feel like as I get older, I want to have more of those kind of situations where I don't have to worry about that stuff as much. You know?
I think that's probably one of the issues I have. It's worried too much about a whole lot
Yeah.
of nothing.
Yeah. Or
Well, what it is-
second guessing things. Yeah.
Well, also yesterday actually I saw a friend of mine named Jonathan Horseman. He has this cool like 80s pop band, synth pop stuff called Urban Heat is what it's called.
Okay.
Anyways, you can check them out, but they're really good. But he had put this post up saying, do any of you artists or musicians or something about artists and being creative feel like it's working against you sometimes, or being creative working against you? You ever feel that? And I've been saying that for
Being creative is works against
works
you.
against you. Yeah, because I mean, if you're an artist, right? Particularly if you're a really, really creative artist, whether you're good or not,
Right.
air quotes over here, whether you're good or not makes no difference. But the level of creativity that you have to write a song and write a guitar part, write a bass part, write a vocal melody, write lyrics, like all that creativity could easily just go backwards, and you could just create all this horrible stuff that's not even there.
Yeah.
You could create problems and create bad things in your life just as easily as you can create good things in your
Yes,
life.
yes.
And so I believe that creative
absolutely.
creative people, if you don't nourish your creativity, it could definitely work against you.
Mary wrote a song on an old project that we did with Kelly Minnis called Red Chapter Jubilee, kind of like a synth pop thing. And she had a really great line. She said, I'm sorry life can't be arranged musically. I thought it
That's a
was
good way to put
I
it.
thought it was a really great line.
That is a good line.
Because I think she was probably writing it to me, but I took it that way. But I think, I feel like that. I wish I could arrange life the way I arrange a song sometimes, because what I mean by that is I don't feel in complete control of my songs. When I start an idea for a song and I get a basic framework of it, it just sort of does. At that point, it kind of writes itself. It sort of finishes it. It starts to tell me the things it wants me to do, and I kind of wish life was like that. Like I could instinctively know the right thing to do at every moment and not have it be like all my choice. Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's too many choices sometimes. That's what kills creative people. There's just too many choices sometimes,
There is definitely too many choices sometimes. There was a lyric that I wrote when I was a kid, and sometimes I'll listen to it, like my old pop punk band, and I'll listen to it, and I'm like, how did I write that? Because it's so cool when I hear it. I'm like, yeah, I think that still kind of.
Yeah.
There's like the lyrics is, I wish I knew now what I knew then. Meaning, I wish when I was back then, I knew everything. I'm like naive to
Right.
the realities
Yeah.
of the world. So when you're when you're a kid, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it for young folks out there.
You think you know everything.
You think you know everything, man, but trust me, the world looks a lot different from this side of the desk.
Right. It does.
It really does.
The older I get, the less I understand about any given subject, because I think the more that the part of wisdom of age is going, wow, I still got a lot to
I
figure out.
still have a lot to figure out. I didn't even know why I didn't figure this out to begin with.
Right, because
know?
we're much more dismissive when we're younger. Like, whatever.
But then you meet some young dude or girl, and then they'll just know all this stuff.
Right.
Which is amazing.
That is pretty cool.
Like Dan, you know who Dan
Yes.
Redmond is?
I've seen
Okay,
that.
he has a co-op over here on the east side.
Yeah,
MLK
okay.
and 183 called Mosaic.
Oh, yes, Mosaic. The
Yeah.
Mosaic guy. That's where I knew him from. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, they're great. They're
his,
amazing.
So his son, Ben Redmond, he is a fucking sick-ass drummer. He played in Residual Kid.
I know Dewey.
Okay.
I know Devin, the guy from,
Yeah.
Devin, the singer from Residual Kid. Yeah, cool. They're
So-
a great little band. They
So-
were amazing.
Yeah, they were amazing. Or maybe they're still, I don't know. But
Well, yeah,
they're not kids anymore.
Right.
But so anyways, Ben is playing drums for Trail of Dead now.
Really?
And so, of course,
Wow, I didn't know that.
him being brought into the fold of our Trail of Dead family over here, I've had many opportunities to hang out with Ben. I think Ben's only 22.
Yeah.
He's young.
He's got it figured
he's
out.
a young man. But that dude has so much musical wisdom. How he executes his performance.
Yeah.
The knowledge of his instrument, this guy could only get better. He's
Right.
already great. You know what I mean?
I've noticed this, Rich, with a lot. I know it's cliche and it's kind of easy for people to kind of rip on millennials, but I've seen this. A lot of the kids coming up now, they're pretty amazing. They really have it together. You know, not just in their skills as musicians or whatever, but just also, you know, they expect a world to be right and to be the way it should be, and they're not going to tolerate a lot of the old ideas that don't work anymore. You know, and I think that's, you know, I think we got to give a little bit more credit to a lot of the younger kids because, you know, and my kids, you know, they'll call me out on stuff that I say, you know, like basically like, you know, not even non-progressive. I mean, we're talking about like very progressive ideas, but just that the way that they see it is like there's no room for there to be any suggestion that it shouldn't be that way. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, just the way that we sometimes will kind of go, yeah, you know, and you will over-explain things, and they'll be like, you don't need to explain that. That in and of itself is a little bit prejudiced or a little bit, you know, calling you on these kind of things that are, you know, like, wow, makes me feel like you made me feel a little bit like a little bit bad. But I feel good that I raised you to kind of call me out, right?
Yeah.
Even on stuff that isn't really a call out, it's more just like very specific, like just the way that they see the world is different.
When like during the recording sessions and stuff, I was hanging out a lot. Didn't really know Ben that well at that point.
Oh, he's on the new album then.
Oh yeah, he's on the new album, and he looks so young. You know, he just like looks so young. But when you talk to him, this guy is like an inside. He knows you can sit down and talk any subject of music with this man, and he's got everybody's 100%. Everybody respects him 100%. So yeah, there's some young folks out there that kind of blow my mind, and well, yeah, I was hanging out with Ben. He was working though, but
yeah.
But anyways, yeah, Ben's when you hear the new album, you hear the material that Ben's thrown down on the new Trail album. I mean, I was there. I wrote a song for the album.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or co-wrote.
That's cool.
Co-wrote a song.
When's that coming out?
I don't know. I don't have not.
It's been in production fairly recently, though, correct?
I still think that they have. I think I would say honestly they're about almost halfway done.
Okay.
But if you heard what they had, what they have done already, you would think it's already done.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's just gonna sound. It's okay.
They have so many good records.
As a dude that's been friends and with Trail of Dead and working for them as long as I have, I can honestly say that this album that they're working on, man, it almost hurts to say it, but this album, it like eclipses it almost eclipses everything they've ever done.
I was just listening to Source Tags and Codes the other day.
It's I can't see anything better. I tell myself, I'm like, okay, I can't really think of anything cooler than Source Tags or
I know.
or,
That's what I was going to say.
or Madonna or something, right?
Yeah,
But
those two.
I think though, being with these guys as long as I have, I think that those are songs for that time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Those are albums for that time.
Yeah.
This album is going to be written up in rock and roll magazines. This album is going to be on Rolling Stone. People are going to be talking. This is going to be like this album from Trail of Dead's coming up. That everything I've heard and listened to, and I've been there for the whole process of these songs, and they're not even done.
Yeah.
And it's already mind blowing. This album that they're putting out, this is like this album is like a defibrillator for rock music.
Yeah.
It's going to bring rock music back to life.
That's so good to hear.
Back to where it's supposed to be. It's bring back more progressive, like prog rock style executions. Really cool. Ugh, it's got so much.
I'm excited.
And I'm not saying that as a fan. I'm saying that as a musician.
Yeah.
And a brother.
Right.
I'm saying that as a musician and a brother, motherfuckers. And you know this album is gonna kick ass.
I'm looking forward to it.
So good. I mean, I wouldn't just say that. I wouldn't just say that. I say that because I know what I've heard and I know what's great, and this shit is great too.
See, that's the thing about it. I think sometimes being an enthusiastic person or being a supportive person, people think that you're not being honest, or they think that you're, and I'll tell you, if I've ever said I loved your band or said I love your record, it's because I've listened and I've gotten into it. I've been moved at a show, so I think it's one of those things where I love hearing Rich talk that way, because I feel the same way. I'm excited when I hear my friends working on something. X-Ops are working on a new record that I've been back to hearing a little bit of the stuff through the.
Do you want to play something real quick?
Sure.
We gotta close this out here pretty soon.
Yeah. That's proper. That's a proper Geddy Lee bass synth. Yeah, something like that.
All right, let me see if I can make it to the garbage can. How much?
Do it. Oh, almost.
It's a brick.
Almost.
Anyways, we are going to go ahead.
It's been fun, Rich.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
We're going to cut this short, or not short. We've been going now for about an hour and 40 minutes or something like that. How do people get in touch with you? How can they find your music? Do you have Bandcamp? Do you have a Facebook?
Bandcamp.
Instagram.
jsatellite.bandcamp.com. We are on all the major platforms: Spotify, YouTube, everything, Deezer. I don't even know some of these things. And we are Facebook page, facebook.com/jsatellite. We are playing Tuesday night at Meanwhile with Spectral Sea. You know those guys, don't you?
Yes, I've heard. You know what?
You played a show with them.
I did. I remember now.
That was the first show we met. I think that might have been the show that we met.
I remember that.
Yeah,
okay.
They're now doing like a kind of a synth, bass synth thing.
Cool.
So
send me an invite on the Facebook.
Yeah, we'll do. And it's going to be a fun show. It's an early show. It's going to be like 7 to 9.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if we're playing first or second, but yeah, we love those guys. They're great.
Which day was that again?
Tuesday, August 10th.
Okay.
So this coming Tuesday we're playing.
Oh, day before my dad's birthday.
Okay.
Yeah, he forgot my birthday, so I'm gonna forget his.
Yeah.
Yeah. He don't no happy birthday. He's gonna be 74. That old fuck. Anyways, I love you, Dad. I love you. I know you love me. You just don't like me. So
it's a complicated relationship,
fun.
Rich. It just is.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and close it out with this song.
Thanks so much, man.
Turntail. There you go.
Yeah, a little bit of my Chameleons. A little bit of Chameleons, a little bit of dark stuff.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you for paying attention and watching, listening to us. I've been working on my listening skills, if you haven't noticed.
I have too.
All right.
We're in this together, aren't we? That's right.
All right, brother. Hey, man, you drive safe, man. And we're going to go ahead and close out this with this song.
Really appreciate it, Rich.
I'll let you know
Yeah, when it's
if I
on.
can make that show on Tuesday.
Oh, that'd be great. That'll
All
be
right,
great.
man.
Thanks
All right,
to everybody for watching. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Be safe. Be kind to others and yourself.
That's right.
Bye.